Om. 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 Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Gungurubhyo Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Aim Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamasravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinman Udibisi Dasadanam. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidanandamurtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niranambaya Tejase. Om Yasyatma Bhudasya Guraprasadat Aham Vimuktasmi Samsara Bandhat Sarvopadashtu Shivanandamurtehe Mridvankrijukmam Pranadosmi Nityam Dayasindhum Dinabandhum Shastrarthabodhanapatum Maskarindra Varam Navami Sri Chidananda Sadgurum. Om Praninam Dukkhahartaru Jnanado Bhuvanamuktaye Shivananda Chidanandu Ashraye Guru Sattamo. Om Shantatmanam Pranadasulabham Siddha Vidya Prabhavam Bhaswadrupam Sugunanilayam Dvastakarmadivargam Prajnavriddham Nija Samadrisham Taradam Tyagibhajyam Sakshat Isham Mama Guruvaram Shivanandam Natosmi. Shivanandam Natosmi. Om Tvatpadam Bhujamaschayami Paramam Tvam Chintayam Yanvaham Tvam Isham Sharanam Prajami Vachasam Tvameva Yache Vibho Viksham Me Dishachakshushim Sakarunam Divyaishchiram Prasthitam Shambho Lokaguru Madhya Manasaha Saukhyopadesham Guru. Shambho Lokaguru Madhya Manasaha Saukhyopadesham Guru. Oh. So we have been going through the Atmarpana Stuti of Apayadikshita. So Apayadikshita became mad to find out what type of thoughts will go on in his mind. So when we get up early in the morning, what is the first thought that comes in our mind? The moment you get up, what thoughts comes in our mind? That decides what our life is. What thought comes in our mind first? So when we go to bed, we can keep on doing japa, thinking about God and go to sleep because it is in our control. But when we get up, what thought comes in our mind? When you are administered anesthesia, and then when you come out, what thought comes in the mind? So whatever you know, that alone will come. So even if you are a spiritual person, you have been studying Shastras, the Shastra need not come, something else may come. If Shastra also comes, what type of Shastra comes, that is also important. Then Apayadikshita was a great scholar. He has written commentaries on the Brahma Sutras, especially his Parimala. The commentary is for the Kalpataru. Kalpataru is a very classical commentary on Brahma Sutras by Amalananda, very tough to understand. Even the sharp brain will not understand the logic in that. To make it easy, Apayadikshita has written that. So he has dealt with elaborately on the scriptures. But when he induced madness in him, None of those thoughts came in his mind. He did not discuss much about this other philosophies. His mind was dwelling on Lord Shiva. So all the 50 compositions, they are on Lord Shiva only. He did not speak about anything. So why I say this? Because a person who has committed himself to the study of scriptures, Brahma Sutra, etc., if that knowledge is without devotion, that shushka, it is called a very dry knowledge, that will be of no use to them. A jnani should be a great bhakta, and bhakta should be a jnani. Otherwise, it will not be, otherwise it will only be an emotion. So when he came out of this, all the slokas are on devotion, and that too on Sharanagati, the principles of Sharanagati, total surrender unto God. So that is the importance of this work. And so he continues, yes, last time we have seen something, I don't want to go back into those slokas. So now, then he thinks about his own condition. He makes prayer to Bhagavan that. So we have problems with our sense organs here. What prevents us from realization? What prevents us to go near God? Only our sense organs pull us in different directions. It is not allowing us. So there is no samsara for a person whose mind doesn't move at all. If your mind does not move anywhere, if you don't get attracted by anything, then there will be no problem. Problems are there because the mind gets attracted to something and moves in that direction. So the mind moves in that direction because the sense organs pull you in that direction. The sense organs pull you in that direction. So the problem is we want to control the sense organs. So all the seekers have only one problem. The sense organs are not under our control. It keeps on moving in the direction they want to move, and we try to pull it up, pull it back. That is what is happening. And then whenever we say, I am not able to meditate, I am not able to concentrate, even in studies and other things, the children, I am not able to study, means what happens? Your sense organs is pulling you somewhere else. So that is the problem actually. So the seekers, the spiritual seekers also have this problem. So he speaks about this problem to Bhagavan. You have to speak to God. Gurudev says you speak to God. When Gurudev says start the day with God, means actually you start the day with, you check whether you are starting, naturally it comes. If it doesn't come naturally, then you start the day with God. If God's thought comes naturally in your mind, then you are a seeker. You are already in the spiritual path. If the thought of God does not come naturally, then you are not a real seeker. You are only seeking actually. And then try to remember God. That is why. So the first exercise is start the day with God. End the day with God and fill the day with God. Start the day with God. It should naturally come. If it naturally comes, means you are already in the path. Otherwise you are not in the path, you are beating about the bush. So we should also know this actually. There is no point in imagining I am a great scholar, I do everything, I am a bhakta, I am a sadhu, I am a sannyasi, and all these things won't work. Bhagavan knows what thought goes on in your mind. So Appaya Dikshidhar also says, their life is very regulated life. They cannot do their life is very regulated. They cannot eat wherever they go, they won't eat whatever they like. There is restriction in everything. And such a person says, I am not able to control the mind to Bhagavan. He speaks to Bhagavan. We should also speak to Bhagavan. Instead of telling that my mind is not under control, to somebody you should tell Gurudev, my mind is not under control, kindly help me to control that. So he says to Bhagavan, Naham ruddhum karananichayam durnayam parayami smaram janipatarijam nathasidami bhityam Kimva kurve kimuchitamiha kwadya gacchami hanta tvat padabja prapadanam rute naiva pashyamyupayam tvat padabja prapadana rute. It will be like that, prapadanam rute. It will be prapadanam. When you read it, you should split it actually. Tvat padabja prapadanam rute naiva pashyamyupayam. Rute means if it is not there, that rute means otherwise. So he says, Naham roddum karananijayam durnayam parayami durnayam karananijayam roddum naham parayami. Hey Bhagavan, my mind, my sense organs are very powerful. They draw me to different places. I am not able to control it. I am not able to control that. At the same time, I am very much aware that if I don't control, I will be getting into more troubles, and again there will be birth and death and birth and death. This cycle, samsara cycle will be there. That I know very much. Therefore, smaram smaram janipadarujam nadasidhami bhitya. I am afraid of that. I don't want to enter into the samsara. So, I will enter into samsara if I am not controlling these sense organs. And if I don't control, then I will be naturally here. So I don't want that. I remember that. So I am worried. I do not know what to do. Kimva kurve kimuchitamiha kwadya gacchami hanta. So what I will do, where I can go, what I should do, I do not know. Only thing I can do is that I don't find any way excepting tvat padabja prapadanam riteem naiva pashyamyupayam. I don't find anything excepting to take total refuge in you, total surrender to you. I don't find anything other than to surrender at your holy feet. Then I don't find anything other thing. So this is the only thing I find. Please help me to do that. So this is called, this is in the Sharanagati Sampradaya. First thing is, first we have a total faith. Rakshishati iti bhavaha. Bhagavan will protect me. That 100% faith should be there. You go and make a prayer to Bhagavan and you also try something. You do your duty, Bhagavan will do his duty. That surrender is not a full surrender. According to Sharanagati Prapatti Shastra, he will take care of me. I totally depend on you. Whatever happens, let it happen. That surrender is alone surrender. So it is called Anitara Gatitva Abhidanam. Anitara Gati. I don't have any Itara Gati. You are my only Gati. You are my only refuge. I don't have any other option. This is my only thing I know is that you alone can protect me. No, nothing else is there. That absolute faith and absolute surrender. So that is prapatti is very important. That is called prapatti. So he says, Tvat padabja prapadanam padyati iti padaha. Prapadana prakashena padyati iti. Tvat padabja prapadanam rute naiva pashyamyupayam. I don't find any other means other than Tvat padabja prapadanam. Accepting, surrendering totally, falling at your feet and taking total refuge in you. Other than this, I don't find any other technique. I don't find any other tool, any other method to solve this problem. So he makes it very clear that my sense organs are pulling me in different directions and I am not able to control it. That is the problem with all seekers. And the Yoga Shastra speaks about that. Yamaniyama asana pranayama pratyahara. Pratyahara means keeping the sense, all this, withdrawing all the sense organs and keeping the mind calm. So that is what is needed. So that you have to, I am not able to do that. I do not know any other method. This was Jnana Marga, other Marga, all these things. I don't think it will come to my rescue. So I take shelter under your feet. That is what he says here. So in the previous sloka, Apadishadra has mentioned that I am yoked with a powerful bullock. So bullock carts drawn by two bullocks, and one is I myself, I'm a small calf, not having good strength. And the other side is a very powerful bull is there, and it pulls me in that direction, it takes me like that, he says. So in continuation of that only he says this, because the next line he says, Smaram smaram janipadarujam natasidhami bhitya. I am afraid that I remember this, that this bull will take me and into the wrong direction, and the cart will perish, and I will also perish. This is actually the Kalpana of the cart Kalpana, Ratha Kalpana, he has taken from the Kathopanishad. So the very same idea he continues here, and after that Ratha Kalpana in the Kathopanishad, the next mantra speaks about the power of the sense organs. So there, instead of the bull, they use horses. So Indriyani Hayanyahuhu. So Indriyas are considered like horses. So there in the Kathopanishad there are mantras which says, Yastu avijnanavan bhavati ayuktena manasa tasya indriyani avashyani dushtasvaha iti saratehe. Mantra is there. Then Yastu avijnanavan, one who is not a jnani, one who does not understand this, one who is not able to control the sense organs, one who is not able to keep the mind under control, he will end up, he will perish like the Dushtashvaha, when the wild horses, when they draw a chariot, they will draw in any direction. They are not being controlled properly, they will draw out of the track, and the cart and the horses will also die. Like that it will happen. Like that it is mentioned. Same thing. He understands. That was in continuation of that only he says. So this mantra only he has taken in the previous mantra, like I am yoked to a very sturdy and a wild bull, and I am a small calf, I am not able to balance with that. Then the next mantra also says, Yastu avijnanaman bhavatya manaskaha sada ashuchihi nasatat padamapnodi samsaram cha adhigacchati. So if the horse is drawn by a wicked, if the cart is drawn by wicked, the very wild horses, then it will not reach the destination, it will go elsewhere. Likewise, you will also, those ones whose sense organs are not controlled, they will perish, it is said. That only he reminds here, he remembers here. Smaram smaram jalipadarujam natha sidami bhitya. I am afraid that I will be drawn in the wrong direction. So I am afraid of that, and I don't know what to do. I do not know the path. So I find only one source help for me. You are my only source. So I take shelter under your feet. So this idea, most of these ideas he has taken from the Upanishads and also from the great devotees. So the sense organs are pulling us in different directions. So the only problem in spiritual life is that you are not able to control the mind. Why you are not able to control the mind? It's because the sense organs are pulling you in different directions. So the jnanendriyas and karmendriyas, they are taking you towards the samsara. So you are not able to control the mind. That is the only problem. If that is controlled, everything is controlled. Whenever they say that constant remembrance of God, that is not possible. Why it is not possible? Why we are not able to remember God? Because other thoughts come. Why the other thought comes? Because some other interests are there. Those objects of interest are either outside or they are inside. You imagine those objects inside and you get attracted, or you see the objects outside and you get attracted. So Prahlada is a great jnani. So before this Narasimha Prahlada shares his knowledge with his other children. That is full of jnana upadesha. Not much bhakti is there, full of jnana upadesha. But when he have the vision of God, when Bhagavan Narasimha takes place, and when after this Hiranyakashipu's vada, then when Prahlada makes a prayer, this wonderful prayer, there are 40 shlokas are there. The first shloka only here, Apedishwar also, what Prahlada said in the first shloka, that only he has taken in his first shloka. Brahmadayaswaragana munayoda siddha, the same idea he has taken. And later on, Prahlada speaks about this, how the sense organs are very powerful, how they take you, how they pull you, and how you are get caught in all these things. So he says in a beautiful simile also, Jihvaigadochuda vikashati ma vitruptam Shishnonyadastugudaram Savranam Kutaschid Granonyadaschabaladrikvaja karmashakti Bhekvyas sapatnya iva Gekhapatim lunanti. So Bhagavan, he in front of Bhagavan he says, Prahlada Narasimha Bhagavan is there, and before him only he says, Hey Bhagavan, Jihvo Achyuta, hey Chuti Rehita, one who has no Chuti, one who never fails. Hey Achyuta Bhagavan, Jihvaigadochuta vigachadi ma vitrupta, my tongue is pulling me in one direction. Shishnonyadastugudaram and Shishna and Udara and Tok. Shravanam Kutaschit, then my ear is pulling me in one direction. Granonyata, the nose is pulling in another direction. Granonyata chapaladrik, then my eyes are pulling me in another direction. So my different sense organs, both the jnanendriyas and the karmendriyas, motor organs and sense organs, they are pulling me in different directions, and he gives a beautiful example. Bhekvyas sapatnya iva Gekhapatim lunanti. So he gives an example like this in those days, and they are kings. So they get married. They married to they will have a number of wives. He is married to 10 ladies. So each one is pulling, you come to me, you come to me. Bhekvyas sapatnya iva Gekhapatim lunanti. Each one is pulling that Pati in their own direction. So like they are all pulling me in different directions, then the tug of war is going on, I am caught in that. So he says like that. He also, next sloka he says, how can I control all these things? You alone can control me. You only one accepting, falling at your feet and taking accepting the total surrender unto you, there is no other go, he says. So this is Anitaragati. And also not only Anitaragati, and this Anitaragati you have to tell Bhagavan, I am a weak fellow, I can't do anything. You should not have ledger to tell before him. Hey Bhagavan, I will not be able to all these things. You alone have to help me. So I find only you are the only source. So you have to fall at the feet of Bhagavan so that he will help you to control this. So tat padabja prabhadanam rite naiva pashyamyupayam. Rite tat padabja prabhadanam. Padabja prabhadanam. Prabhadanam means pada padyate. So accepting falling at your lotus feet and taking refuge in you, there is no other method. So you have to help me. This idea, whenever we have so many shlokas we are saying, all these shlokas ultimately they speak about this prapatti only, sharanagati only. Gatistum tomeka bhavani. This during Navratra somebody will be singing this. Gatistum tomeka bhavani. So what is that gatistum? You are not the reaching place. You are the only gati. Anitara gati actually. That's what do you mean by that? And so whether it is Shiva or Vishnu, it makes no difference. Then you know that Shankaracharya, although he is a great jnani, is also a great devotee. So Acharya also says, Shankara Bhagavad Pada also says, you are the only, you can only help me to come out of this. So, Mamadehi Karavalambam. So to the Lakshmi Narasimha Bhagavan, he has composed slokas, mother, I think about 12 slokas. In that all the last line will be Lakshmi Narasimha Mamadehi Karavalambam. You give me, you lift me up. I have fallen down, you lift me up like that. Srimat Payo Nidhi Niketana Chakrapanim Bhogindra Bhogamani Ranjita Punyamurti Yogisha Shashwata Sharanya Bhavabdi Podam Lakshmi Narasimha Mamadehi Karavalambam. The third line is full of Sambodhana only, because Yogisha is Sambodhana. Hey Yogisha, hey Shashwata, hey Sharanya, hey Bhavabdi Podam. Bhavabdi Poda means the boat to cross over this. Poda means boat. Bhavabdi Poda means the boat that helps you to cross over this mundane life. Hey Yogisha, hey Shashtra, hey Sharanya, hey Bhagavan, Lakshmi Narasimha. Hey Bhagavan, Lakshmi Narasimha, Mamadehi Karavalambam. You lift me up, I cannot do anything, so you have to protect me. So this is Prapatti Shastra actually. So although Apaya Dikshidhar was such a great scholar, and the Kalpadhiru, I do not know, anybody has seen here the Parimala Vyakhyana. So that Parimala Vyakhyana, if you see, and then the logics, then you will understand a person with such powerful intellect, such one who can dissect and study all these things, when he goes mad, he totally speaks about Sharanagati only. So that is a sign that the person who studies Shastras, if the Shastra Patana, if it remains only at the level of logic, and if it is not digested, and the mind has not become soft, and then that study is just a total waste. He has not understood it. Shastra Brahma Sutra study should make us more devoted to God. Otherwise, all these Vyakhyana will become a waste actually. So the Shastra Abhyasa, Jnana Abhyasa should make you more devoted to God. Bhakti Paresha Anubhutir Viraktir Anyatra Triga Ekakala. Bhakti, Vairagya, Jnana should simultaneously develop. The more you understand the Shastras, the more you become devoted actually. Otherwise, it is a Shushka Shastra, it will not be useful actually. So, Bhagavan Shankaracharya also says, Hey Bhagavan, Narasimha Mamadehi Karavalambam. Some stories will be told, that is all unimportant. What is the meaning of that sloka? Gatistvam bhava, tvameka bhavani. Like that, hundreds of slokas are there. Ultimately, all these slokas speaks about the Sharanagati only, Prapatti only. So the jnana should take us to that Prapatti actually. Ultimately, you should be able to accept God, the presence of God. Should be able to feel the presence of God and accept everything is fine. Nothing disturbs you. Nothing will disturb us. Everything is fine. Otherwise, what is the use of Shastra Patana? The world is mithya, world is false, but you are getting disturbed in small things. What type of knowledge it is? So the jnana should help us to understand this. Feel the presence of God. And everything is beautiful here. And then everything is beautiful here means you have accepted everything as its creation, God's creation. Everything is beautiful here. So we accepted it. Then what disturbs actually? Something is beautiful, something is not beautiful, then only disturbance. Something is good, something is bad. So good and bad are required for the mundane analysis, but when it comes to internal level, everything is fine. What do you want? Nothing. Everything he has provided to me. I don't want anything. Contentment is required. If that is not there, what is the use of all these exercises? What is the use of going to temples? What is the use of studying Shastras? You study Bhagavad and your mind is craving for small things. So he makes it that prapatti actually. Padabhya prapadana mrite naiva pashyam vibhayam. Next sloka he says, then again he is Ullangyajñam Udupatikala Chutate Vishwavandyam Tyaktacharam Pasivadadhunam Muktarajjascharami Evam Nanavida Bhavadati Prapta Dirga Paradam Klesham Bodhim Katamaham Rute Tvat Prasadat Tareyam. So here also used the word Rute. Klesham Bodhim Katamaham Rute Tvat Prasadat Tareyam. This Klesha Bodhi, this samsara sagara which is full of kleshas. Otherwise, the kleshas, the avidya, asmita, ragadvesha, viniveshaha, kleshaha. So all these kleshas. Katamaham Rute Tvat Prasadat Tareyam. Vina your prasada, your grace, your blessing, how will I go beyond this klesha? Avidya is the main klesha. So avidya, if it cross over the avidya, means all other ragadvesha, abhinivesha will go away. So the pancha klesha, how I can transcend them, how can go beyond all these things without your prasada? How it will, then he says, my life is full of aparadha. Then normally also when after doing pujas, even during this Navratra Pata, Aparadha Sahasrani Kriyanti Akarnisham Maya Dasogamiti Matva Chamassu Pariveshwari. So thousands of wrong things, aparadha I am doing every day. I am your dasa, kindly consider I am your dasa and condone all those things. After reading all these things, after prayer also we say this, and then there is aparadha stotra is there. Aparadha Kshamapana stotra is there. So this aparadha bhavata, I am doing something wrong. So all these wrongs you condone. Anything other than God exists, other than something. Uttaramantaram kurute tato vai bhayam bhavati. Even if you make a small difference, God is there and I am also there. It's an aparadha. So ananyaschintayando mam, all these things we study. Ananyaschintayando mam, what is the meaning? Ananyaha, there is nothing. Anya vastu is not there. That alone exists. So something other than exists, when you accept it, then Maya has already started and it will create problem. So nothing exists other than that. Then there is no aparadha. The first aparadha is that I consider other than you something exists. Other than me something exists. Other than you something exists. Whatever it is, both ways it is okay. Other than God something exists. Other than me something exists. So when you consider vidiyat vai bhayam bhavati, otherwise they say udaravantaram kurute tato vai bhayam bhavati. Udaram means actually uttaram, ishat bheda bhavana. Little, when there is a little bheda bhavana, you and me, then comes swaparaschetya sadgraha yanmaya drishtastasmi bhagavate namaha. Bhagavad says swapara, me and the other, I and the other. That's why the Purnamadaha, Purnamida only, this only they mean. Purnamadaha, Purnamidam does not mean any other thing. Purnamadaha, that is full and this is full, means that and this are one. That and this cannot be different. Otherwise, that and this, that is also full, this is also full. It's a statement without any logic actually. That and this are reconciled and it is only one. So that is the meaning of that and this actually. So here, Ullangyajñam Udupatikala Chutate Vishwanatha. Udupatikala Chutate means Chandrasekhara Bhagavan. Udupati means Taranam Pati Chandra Ityartaha. Udupati Kala Chudate Vishwandyam. Ullangyajnam. Whatever you have, the Vedas has prescribed certain rules. This you do, you don't do. There are do's and don'ts. I break all the law and do all wrong things only. Tyaktachara Pashuvadadunam Muktalajjascharami. So without any charya, without any practice of all these things, and I am like a horizontal being. Gurudev calls it as a horizontal being. The animals, four-legged. So like I am moving like a quadruped without observing any of these things. I break all those laws and I am moving like that. I am living like that. Like an animal I am living. Evam nana vida bhavat adiprapta dirghaparada. So much aparadas I am doing, so much wrong things I am doing. Now how is it possible for me to get out of this? It is impossible. Unless Rutet Tat Prasadat Tareyam, Vina your Prasada, Vina your grace, how can I cross over this? These two slokas, the earlier one and this, together we should read. In the first one he says, I don't find any solution to cross over this with other than falling at your lotus feet, otherwise taking total refuge in you. Here he says, without your prasada, how can I cross over? So this is actually according to this. Upadikshadar was a great devotee of Shiva. Although he has written commentaries according to Advaita commentary he has written, he is also a great devotee. He also written a commentary based on Shivapara. Based on Shiva is the ultimate. Instead of Brahman, he has put Shiva also. Like that, a commentary also is written. It is more Shivadvaitam, it is called. And he has taken his tutelary deity, his Ishta Devata was Nataraja. So, these Tamil saints are there, this Nayanmar. The Vaishnava saints are Alvas. So they say that even to surrender to God, you cannot surrender to God. It is not possible. I surrender unto you. You cannot say it is not possible. Even to surrender unto Him, His grace is required. So in Tamil they say, Avanarulal Avantal Vadangi. That means with His grace only we are able to surrender to Him. Bhagavan's grace is required to take refuge at His lotus feet. So I take refuge at His lotus feet means it is not possible, it only remain at the lip level. So in order to take totally surrender yourself into Bhagavan's lotus feet, for that also your grace is required. He says, Rite Tvat Tareyam Tvat Prasadam Vina your prasad, Vina your grace. How is it possible? How can I cross over? So first, initially he says, I don't find any means other than to take shelter at your feet. Then now he says, that is not possible. If I try, it is not possible. You have to do this to me. You have to help me to do this. You have to see that I do that. You should make me do it. So this two together there is Prapatti is total actually. The Sharanagati means even to have Sharanagati to Him, Bhagavan's grace is required. Otherwise Sharanagati is not possible. You cannot say, I am devoted to God. Even to be devoted to God, His grace is required. He should bless you, be my devotee, he should say. Otherwise he will not be devoted to God. So for that also His grace is required. So the grace is the most important thing. And that grace, the Advaitis call it as grace from the Paramatma here. It is the grace of the Atman. It is the blessings from your inner self. Atma Kripa they call it as. or it can be Bhagavan's Kripa. Bhagavan's Kripa and Atma Kripa are not different actually, because Bhagavan only is the Antaratma. So the Kripa comes from here actually. So there is an acceptance that of that supreme reality. That acceptance is not easy. Your ego will not allow you to accept it actually. Everything is fine. That acceptance is not possible. That is not possible actually, it is His Kripa. So that Kripa, His Kripa and the inner Kripa are one and the same only, although we use different words. It is only one Kripa only. So, Tatprasadat Tareyam, he says that without your prasada, how it is possible for me to surrender to your feet? So you help me, you bless me so that I surrender. So that is this. In the two slokas together explains the property, the Sharanagati Shastra. So Anitaragati, there is no other gati. And I make you, I inform you, I place before you, I make you understand that I don't have any other gati. And then I say I surrender unto you. And you see that I surrender. So together it goes. And the next slokas, God willing, we will see it afterwards in the next session. Shukamukha Munivadyaham Kirtayitwadi Bhaktiyam Paramasukapata Hetum Santatum Tvachcharitram Paramapadamavapuhu Manasam Me Astu Saktam Tavashubhasaritab Dem Kirtani Vishwanatham Tavashubhasaritab De Kirtani Vishwanatham Om Tat Sat Hari Om.